Hello viewers, welcome to the video on romantic period or romantic age. In this video, we'll discuss and have a general idea about what is romantic period or age and who are the writers writing in this age and what are the characteristics or elements that constitute romantic period or romantic age. This romantic period extends from 1798 to 1837, and this romantic period started in England with the publication of lyrical ballads by the two young friends, namely William Wordsworth and S.T. Coleridge in 1798. Romantic period is a reaction against the neoclassical and rationalistic ideals. It is also the period of realization of the emotional and imaginative aspects of life. They inclined towards mysticism, the exotic, the strange, the unreal, the marvelous, and the abnormal. So, it is not the case with the neoclassics. There is an order, there is a structure, there is a form for everything they write, for everything they compose. Their poetry, romantic poetry is full of element of subjectivity. There is a there is an element of there is an element of emotion, feeling, personal experiences. That's why Wordsworth defined poetry as the spontaneous overflow of powerful emotions and feelings. And most important writers writing in this age are William Wordsworth, S.T. Coleridge, Shelley, Keats, Byron, and many more. I provided only few of them here. These romantics treat nature as a very important theme in their compositions, and they shared Rousseau's faith in the goodness of nature, and they believe that there is a great link, a connection between man and nature. Very true. So there is definitely a relation, there is a relationship, there is a connection, there is a link between man and nature. And whatever we find in nature is a goodness of thing which lacks in human beings or any other creature. They worship nature. That's why they are called as pantheists. And they believe a deep connection that exists between man and nature. Few romantic poets who influenced this age to a considerable extent are William Wordsworth, John Keats, S.T. Coleridge, Shelley, Lord Byron. And we will move on to the next slide where we learn about what are the main elements and characteristics of romantic period and poetry. As I said earlier, their poetry is based on emotions and feelings. That's why they believe in spontaneity of lyric poetry. Neoclassics never believed in spontaneity. They never believed in emotions and feelings in the composition. Every composition, according to neoclassics, should go through a process, should stick to some kind of school in writing their poetry and adopting an orderly form, orderly structure, rules, regulations. But they don't find any rules and regulations, and never ever they have taken any school as their guiding principle in writing their poetry. Their poetry is spontaneous, based on personal experiences, feelings, and emotions. They believed in imagination rather than in mere reason. They don't reason out for whatever they write. They never and ever reason out. They never follow any rules and regulations in the composition. And third important element in characteristics is nature was their best teacher. They are the worshippers of nature. They think there is a deep link that exists between man and nature that we need to exercise through imagination and feeling and establish that link between and establish that link with the nature. So is the case with these romantics. They treat nature as their best teacher and learn from that nature and be with the nature, and they enjoy the life being with the nature and becoming one with the nature. They preferred poetry that spoke of personal experiences. Another most important characteristics and the main element of their poetry is they spoke of personal experiences and emotions, often in simple and unadorned language. Their poetry is very simple, understandable for everyone, not only to the elite, not only to the educated or uneducated, to everyone. Their poetry is something that is understood by everyone, that is written in simple language, unpolished language. But the neoclassics language is somewhat different. They talk about the institutions and the light. They talk about, but romantics talk about the common people. They took common themes. They involve themselves with emotion and feeling in the representation of their poetry. They use lyric as the best form. So lyric is the best form that suited their compositions to express their feelings, self-revelation, and imagination. They go far off places through imagination. They, they, they inclined to mysticism. They incline towards exotic. They incline towards strange, unreal, and they incline towards marvelous and abnormal things through their imagination, through their feelings, and represent those things in their poetry. They never and ever think of any reason behind their writings. It is carried out through their emotions. Spontaneous flow of powerful emotions is the characteristics of romantic poetry or romantic poets. Another important element is they turn to a past. Always they look back and are in a dream world which was more picturesque and magical than the ugly industrial age they lived in. Though they lived in industrial age developed England, but they never and ever lived with that age. They never concerned with the developments around. They are happy and contented with the life with the nature, being with the nature and in the nature. Another thing they believed is individual liberty. They give utmost importance to individual liberty, and and these were the authors who were influenced by the French Revolution, and they give utmost dignity to each individual and his liberty and rights. Another important element of these romantic writers thought of nature as transformative in nature. Very important point I mention here. They treat nature as something transformative in nature. It transforms our life. They have given this. They believe in the slogan that back to nature because nature was something seen as pure and spiritual source of renewal. So they treat it as something spiritual in nature and which is a source of renewal for them. Again, last but not least, they were against neoclassical ideals of order, decorum. There is a element of structure, form. Um, means sticking to a school of thought sticking to most importantly classical school of thought, attaching oneself to a classical school of thought and writing in those with those rules and regulations. Such things will never and ever happen with the writers of romantic age. That's why they are against neoclassical ideals of order and decorum. So I can conclude my video with the gist of what I have talked about in this video. Romantics or romantic age is the age of subjectivity, an emphasis on individualism, an emphasis on spontaneity of emotion and feelings, emphasis on freedom from rules. They like solitary life rather than the life in the society or with the human beings. They like to be with the nature and like to live in the nature. They believe that imagination is superior to reason and devotion is important to beauty, and they are the worshippers of nature. So that's why the romantic period is against the neoclassical and the rationalistic ideals. That's why there is a realization of the emotional and imaginative aspects of life in this very important age, that is romantic period. Such is the age that we see from 1798 to 1837. So thank you for watching my video. Thank you very much.